Alright. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. More Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're about to head into Case 2-3. The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Yep, let's dive right in and see where this takes us. The Crystal Tower.
The grand end of the century great exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the great exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
You see, a Norse god and his traveling
We're here at the showground of the great exhibition, which is
and his
absolutely
traveling
packed with people.
jet ski salesman descended upon the Great Exhibition of London to stop a strange African-American man and his giant talking clock. Nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about.
The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies. And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future. A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine! A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location. Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before.
So, the world of Ace Attorney is now Star Trek, I guess. Is that our victim? Is he going to get electrocuted?
In but a few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air. To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you!
He seems like a trustworthy man. Certainly a man of science. We just witnessed a man die in front of us. How horrible. Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry, what was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper. It's full of news about the Great Exhibition again. Yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down. Ah! Well, when did you arrive, Mr. Naruto? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I, thought you might have known I was here. You know, because breakfast. Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course. I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Clearly it can be deduced, therefore, that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has. Ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh. Well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. No! And the great exhibition has opened. I think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go to see it together? I want to! Of course I do! But I can't! Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because! I'm a great detective after all! So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Here, take a look at my... Oh, Mr. Sholmes, about this. Shh, not another word. Ah yes, I see. This would be a collar, for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck. And for winter use. Actually, it's the same dialogue that you always say whenever I show this to you. Precisely, which leads us to but one conclusion. You are trying to just get me to say different things. I'm starting to wish I'd never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. I improvised, chat, sorry. Wait, give me just a moment. Okay. Then 6 months ago. Half a year ago now. I took on the defense of a young girl in the trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of that trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable, yet at the same time, unforgivable mistake. Yes, my lord. Of course, my lord. The crime scene tampering? I'm guessing. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing. Well, I guess inadvertent crime scene tampering and also playing government secrets right there in open court. Yeah, there would be consequences for that. I mean, it's funny because normally there would, like, Ace Attorney tends to, like, glance over those kind of things, you know? You'll be just like, hey, we got the right verdict, so nothing matters. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think I mentioned this last time, too, when it came up. You have, haven't you, Runo? Reading all those big fat tomes about British law up in your room. And the notes about Sholmes' old cases. Brewing Irish special blends of tea. Fetching my daily bread for me. You've become something of a manservant around here. Start of the silverware next, Master Naruhodo. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court in Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? Ah, the delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. And I can't do that just sitting around here. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science and most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on? Do you mean those things fly? Yes, of course. You fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all these things will just be common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it though. I'd love to see how bad some of those scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here. Every page of this paper carries some article about the Great Exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. And that is my proper atmosphere. Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? He likes to say that, huh? Thanks, Mobs. Every article on the front page is news about the Great Exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before too long. Eyes of the world are on the Crystal Tower, the pride of London, and something feat of unparalleled beauty. It's a little smudged, I can't read it. First test of metal transport device. Man's something. I can't read the rest of it. London, Britain, and the Industrial Revolution. Industrialization, retrospective. Wow, they actually put some proper English in here. Tower garners worldwide acclaim. Alright. The Reaper attack? Ruffians aim to intimidate a man of justice. What's this name? Someone captures bumbling burger. Is that Grexit? No, it looks like a name that starts with S. Lord Van Zeeks and compatriot cornered. Pursuit cornered? King Christian VIII reverses ruling. Awards prize to Michela. Lost cat! Don't tell me you're trying to read the newspaper. Of course I am. They've gone to the effort of putting actual English on it. Why wouldn't I? See, Sholmes is probably talking about this. This is really important. A lost cat. We need to find it right away. St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Public Health Services. Public Health Report. Alright. So many glowing reports about the great exhibition and everything that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy looking one, that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Runa? Oh, there we go. Now we can actually look at it. Hey, Altamont Gas Company. Fiery ball gown sets dance hall ablaze. An evening of cordial dancing turned into a blazing ball last week when one of the ladies' attendees' dresses accidentally caught on fire. In her panic at the sudden appearance of flames at her feet, the lady dashed madly about the whole of the... initiating no fewer than 3, thankfully, the fires. French Claude here's glass eye case. The dreaded power of Nelly was presented today, the most curious case of a lady who refused to pay her dues for the purchase of one glass eye. The whole affair began when Madame Flouette, the defendant, ordered the eye as an replacement for the natural eye she had lost. Upon its arrival, she found that she could see no more of it than she could before. She became incensed at the thought of paying for a deficient product. The dreaded power attempted to reason with the Madame. The endeavor proved to be... That's funny. You can actually read the top right article a bit too. So I don't see any immediate references to Holmes stories, but you know how it is. This, if ever was a place for them to put more references to Holmes canon, this is where they would put it, right? But yeah, just a quick scan over, and I'm not seeing anything that immediately jumps out to me as a reference. But there could be something in there. All right, the Reaper attacked. That's Lord Van Zeeks. This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add. That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Well, usually. The more mysterious and complicated a case is, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please! You mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without an invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. That was a deep sigh. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zeeks was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes. Prosecutor Baroque Van Zeeks. He say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law to stop at nothing to secure an acquittal or trial. falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zieks has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time. He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness! Is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zieks hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zieks and his condition, all will be reviewed in tomorrow morning's edition. I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind. And now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later indeed. And he's gone. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his way out of the door. What? What is she wearing? Why does the hat have to cover her buns like that? She looks odd. Yeah, I don't know if I like this outfit. I think the buns are a bit much. Alright then, Bruno, let's get going. Oh, Iris, what are you wearing? I got changed to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Please don't shoot me. Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, will you? Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the Great Exhibition. Before we go, I just want to see if there's anything new or different about the area. No, things look about the same as usual. Let me go upstairs real quick. Nothing much up here. I wonder if Iris has anything to say about the Daruma. I can't wait to take as long as you do. Or maybe not. I'll color it in for you. Just in that one eye, is it? No, it needs to be done in a bit of ceremony, Iris. It's not just a toy for coloring in, you know. She does comment on it. Okay, it was worth coming up here then. You like it, don't you, Iris? But for me, it's the sound of the stove and burbling kettle I like the most. Biting winter mornings. You mentioned out a wonderful young girl. Oh, no, it's so sweet of you to say so. Stop putting words in my mouth, please, Iris. Bless. Alright, what are you reading, Rinosuke? Now, at first glance, my desk here might look as though it's in a mess. However, it's not in a mess at all. Everything is exactly where I want it to be. But whenever Miss Susato looked at it, she put her hands on her hips and say, "Oh dear." A way of saying that I should make it a more orderly and neat mess. I miss that. You sound just like Hurley, you know? He says the same about his mess. It's the kind of logic that transcends international borders, obviously. Okay, that was fun. Worth it just to peek in here for a sec. Alright, let's go see Lord Chief Justice of Big Ben, apparently. Yeah. You know, I don't think there's a law office in on the interior of Big Ben in real life, though. Man, this game is so unrealistic. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here, but some things never change. Like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. The time you came here 6 months ago. And Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Huh. I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart. I trust you've been keeping well. Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Neil Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course. I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. And that's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Or no, just take a deep breath and come out with it. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. It's Naruhodo. Yes. Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on the study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? It's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions, and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean? As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. That's wonderful news, Runo. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course. Please, tell me more. Okay, interesting, though. So I'm guessing... Well... There's been a lot of, like, government secret stuff, right? So Asogi was probably involved in something that something more important than just being a law exchange student, I guess. Maybe he had some message to pass on from the Japanese government to the British government. Maybe he was acting as a liaison of some kind. Yeah, either way, looks like he was looks like there's something that's beyond Naruhodo's pay grade that Asogi was involved in, I guess. But they're not gonna tell him. Well, and we'll probably find out by the end. He described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis? As in, moving things with a click of a fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need, a dash of devil-may-care. Whatever this serious accident was exactly has clearly captured Iris' imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odi Asman, an inventor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion? A man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Harebrain. Odious man, yeah. I got it, Chad, I got it. And this is Mr. Albert Einstein, except he's not an Einstein, but he's a harebrain. Ha 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 ha. He was detained immediately after the incident, and is due to appear in court tomorrow. On the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There is very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, the scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder? I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still, we should go to the prison straight away then, and try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh, with Lord Van Zeeks. How? All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. Ah! London, the global epicenter of culture, science and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly! The future of policing. Ah. Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly. It's extremely alarming. Well, you know what? When he's I guess I pegged him wrong. That when he's passionate about something, he gets very hammy about it. Ah. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure. The numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? Oh, how fascinating. It all began 15 years ago. I was... And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter. In the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right. Yes, that's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Huh. You know? Chat, you know, I didn't peg Lord Strongheart to be Emma Skye. But here we are. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. I'm somewhat of a forensic investigator myself, don't you know? Here, have these glasses, and this pack of luminol, and this fingerprinting powder. I guess we have to present him with the... Oh, that reminds me, have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition, of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, haven't you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zieks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. Well, but that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Where was the attack, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. The leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Lord Van Zieks. The man was acquitted. I've no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money? A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely? The victim's henchmen certainly seem to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman. Mr. Rhodey Asman. Oh. Wow, things just got deeper and danker. And I don't know what word I was looking for there, so I went for danker. I'm sorry. Did you say Asman? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition. Yes. Known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you use Lord Van Zieks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. and fearful of their fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still. Something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zieks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him. But it doesn't make sense! How can you explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand? Well, I mean, it should be coincidence, right? Maybe it really is just coincidence, because I don't know, Magnus McGilded's death didn't seem part of a bigger conspiracy. Unless Van Zieks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh, yes. Where would I find Lord Van Zieks now? I would assume he's at his office. Right. I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Hairbrain's defense entirely in your hands. Oh, of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Interesting. So, okay, I guess we'll go see Lord Van Zieks first. But yeah, does that mean that the dude was a volunteer? Did the victim know the accused? That would be my number one question. That would be the number one question I would have asked him. We'll probably ask him that when we get there. Wow, this office is fancy as heck. Is that a huge-ass portrait of himself? Wait, hey chat, didn't Edruff have like a portrait of something? I forget. Well, what did he have a portrait of in his office? Was it himself? Or like... Was it his sports car? I can't remember. It was one of the two. It was either him... No, wait, no. He didn't have a painting in his office. No, yeah. He didn't have a painting in his office. He had a framed suit on the wall. That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of. Right? Right? He had his suit framed up in a picture frame. Like his suit from 3-3. Like his old suit. I think. Right? That sounds vaguely correct. There was a cravat on it and everything. It was an extremely loud suit. Ooh, so this is the legendary Reaper's office. Yes, it appears so. It sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that? That hooded figure was so still I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. Lord Van Zieks? No, that's not him. That's the uniform's different. This is Van Zieks. What are you doing here? Right, Snake. What are you doing here? Ah! That's Meta Knight. He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is I gotta get used to his voice again. It's been a while. No punishment is taking place here. Oh. That's my apprentice. And he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. Ah! Oh, I see. He's wearing a mask. That's what I meant tonight. He's very able in combat. A requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know what the Reaper's... Ugh. I dropped my phone. Sorry, chat. Let me get this keyboard out of the way. Sorry about that. I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming, that is, such a fabled fiend genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. Let me look around the office real quick. Huh? We gotta talk about the portrait. The portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? It's a very majestic outfit and pose, but sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job capturing Lord Van Zeke's facial features. Yes, you're quite right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated the subject's handsomeness, I think. Ah, that reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France altered artists to make him look more attractive and they painted him. How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in person, is it? The portrait does not depict me. Surely that's merely obvious. No, it really wasn't. So, like, what? Is that your dad? Oh, then who is it? He doesn't want to talk about it. That means it's plot relevant. Probably. Hey, it's a chessboard. Lord Van Zeke's desk, look, it's so stylish. And that's a marble chess set beside it. Chess. That's the Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems. Oh really? You probably like chess problems in that case. I'd love to challenge Lord Van Zeke sometime. To a bout of shogi problems. If you only really want to challenge yourself, you can always do that on your own at home. Oh, look, it's a scale model of the Great Exhibition Showground. That's amazing. I wonder why it's here. Perhaps he made it to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person. Or perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as an investigative aid. But gossiping about him right in front of him. Ah! You Niflhees have no business painting others as overly reserved. I really didn't think he'd overhear that. To be fair, that was very rude. Rinosuke, that was very rude of you. You probably shouldn't have said that. Alright. You gonna talk to us? It really looks like a punishment to me. I've never seen someone sitting like that before. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Do you think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Runo, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead! Yeah, I guess he's just writing. Alright. Oops. How are you, Lord Van Zeeks? Lord Strongheart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. True. Carried out by the henchmen of Odi Asman's criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably some hope to kill me before that happened. Odi Asman. He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers, a global investor. But his enormous wealth, came to him by underhand means, via his criminal activities. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances. It was the most unusual cause of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage and instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. It turned out the Grady part is still in before the Aspen isn't it? Well, yeah, right, the thing was a teleportation machine, so clearly he was just pruned and sent to the void at the end of time. Loki's gonna bring him back anytime soon. But yeah, the fact that it's a so-called teleportation machine probably means something's up with that. Mr. Aspen died when the demonstration on the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no. That does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is the fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Runo? I mean, what if you taking on the Professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh, yes, that's right. So I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert. Albert Harebrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. You're... What? I understood that Professor Harebrain was from Germany. Harebrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research, that's all. So you were students together? I was in the faculty of law, of course, and he in science, so our paths ran across. But curiously, we got along, though I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you, of all people, representing him. Only if I make it out of this office alive. He's actually been charged of murder, it seems. Yes, I know. Because the prosecution will be handled by me. By you? But you made it sound as if you and the professor have been friends. We are friends, it's true. Then why would you do this? If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone can do to save him. He's doomed. What's Lon Van Zeek's thinking? Well, like, I mean, he's a state-appointed prosecutor, right? Doesn't he have to take cases by the court? He's assigned cases by the court, right? It's not like he has a choice. Or is that not how that works? Can he wait? No, he did step away for a while, and he does pick his cases. He picks who he wants to. He picks the cases he wants to prosecute. So I guess he does have some say over it. Not that the state assigns him cases to work on and he works on them. So that means he chose to work on this. Interesting. What do you mean by what you said before? If you like to know the Reaper's true identity, what does that mean? The only reason he chose this case is to... Really? But he... I thought he already took the case? Beforehand? Like, he already took the case beforehand. Skate literally just took the case an hour ago. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems like the story is implying that he was already taking this case before that. But oh well. Yeah, I don't think that's it. I think there's probably something else to it. That's what they're implying. It's a very heavy spoiler. Okay, fair enough. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's because of that, yeah. I'm a crown prosecutor and mortal like any other. I'm no demigod. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal. Those that prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society. People who without question deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. But that's not true of Mr. Natsume, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she's ever so hardworking now. I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. But the point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of your own kind. It's not my work. Lord Strongheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. But you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. Oh! It would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful for their lives. Do you mean to say... I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly, and with honor. But it's putting you in danger. You could be killed. If that is my fate, let God decide. Or Van Zeeks. Yeah, Van Zeeks is an interesting character, right? I mean, he's not really outwardly... Yeah. Like, even in this whole conversation, he's not really outwardly antagonistic or anything. He's just a very serious man, and, you know, he's a little racist. He's a little racist against Japanese, but then again, who isn't in this time period? So, you know, fair enough, fair enough. Is there anything to say about this? Lord Van Zeeks, about the article in this paper. Ah, yes. It seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. Looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him. He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Ah, like you are to Hurley then, Runo. I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. It looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders. Nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. So why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be a good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Oh, he got up. This guy looks like he walked out of the Professor Layton crossover game. Right? He has that look about him. Or her. Could be a woman under there. Ah! The task is complete. Good. In that case, we can collate all the briefs. Nice to meet you. He's a quiet fellow, is he? I just noticed the bats! I have to look at them later. Back to work again. That was really strange, though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed. And yet, somehow it didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Lord Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why so many rules, though? Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? Oh, no, I mean... Sorry, I didn't mean to. The way he stood there so casually, yet with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. So it's a character we've seen before. I think is the implication. Oh yes, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh, well, what's that? The Nipponese man. Is he faring well? Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago. With the stoop, and the mustache, and the jitters. Ah! Mr. Natsume, you mean? I'm not sure he'd be very pleased to find out you identified him from that list, Bruno. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. Well, he is concerned, bless him. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you? There's little time left before tomorrow's trial. I advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice, and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Soseki-san. After a Nipponese. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried. I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? That's a turn up for the books. A mad scientist? You mean Professor Harebrain? Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord Van Zeeks, I think. Van Zeeks! Explain the bats. I need you to explain the bats. They were bats! Yes, the Reaper's familiars, I expect. But what about the mute man in the dark cloak? I thought he was the familiar. Just not the flying kind. He must be a dear friend of Mr. Reaper then. I think the familiar idea is more likely. Scary though, either way. Oh, and the bats are gone. Did they not come back? Are the bats a one-time event? Alright, before we go. Here, take a look at this. I know you've seen this around my arm before, but what is it exactly? It's the mark of a defense lawyer. In Japan, at least. And what's your reason for showing it to a British prosecutor? Oh, well, I don't know really. I can understand, at least. There's merit in reminding yourself of who helped you become who you are today. Oh. But that's a personal matter. Something you may want to keep close at all times. Not something to flaunt. No, I suppose not. Thank you for understanding, though. Oh, wow. That was actually a really cool interaction. Yeah. I like Van Zeeks. He's a cool guy. Alright, chat. My water has run out. I'm going to go refill it, so I'll be right back in a second. Yeah, I'll be right back in a second. Don't go anywhere. Hello, chat. Mr. Kaoru Usami has left to get his water, so I am subbing in for him. I am the masked V-streamer. Who am I under the mask? Don't ask. That's a secret. Yes, I am the masked VTuber. I am a different person. Don't question it. Yes, exactly. Like the Reaper's Apprentice. I am the masked VTuber. Hush. The warden said cell 11. That's this one. Oh! There's someone curled up in a ball in the back corner. Look. What's his name again? Professor Albert Harebrain, wasn't it? Excuse me. Professor Harebrain. Chat, should I give this guy a German accent because he studied in Germany, or just stick with the regular accents because he's born in British? Born in British? born in British. Born in Britain. He's British. So no German accent? Okay. Born in British. Truly the worst timeline. Who are you? I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a defense lawyer. A lawyer? Ah! Was there something I said? A lawyer, you say? Would you be here about the experiment? Are you going to defend my hypothesis? Your hypothesis? Sorry, I don't... Yesterday's demonstration! The demonstration was... That magnificent demonstration was... It was an out-and-out success, by anyone's calculations. But despite that, no one listens. No lawyer believes in the science. When it's explained, they all leave at high velocity. What is this music? Chat, this sounds like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I don't know why my brain went there, but immediately this sounds like a comedy cutscene music. Because it's a marching band song. And the weird chromatic step up, it's a very Mystery Dungeon thing that they do. Right? Can you guys hear it? You can't unhear it now anymore, can you? Now that I pointed it out. Now's probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made my concentration leave for a while too. You mentioned the demonstration yesterday. The papers have called it a spectacular failure. After all, a man died in the explosion, didn't he? Yes, you could interpret the results that way if you really wanted to. Well, I suppose in the strictest sense. The experiment was a failure, but at the same time, it was a great success. I teleported him to the afterlife! Man, I have to take my mask off to show that expression. I teleported him to the afterlife! Yeah, I went to all the effort to be able to do the cheek puffs and stuff. I gotta show it off. Alright, turning it back on. You didn't see anything, chat. I am the master VTuber. You lost me. I saw it with my own eyes! Right there in front of me! Mr. Asen was spontaneously disassembled! We just didn't put him back together again. Until then, everything was going exactly as my calculations had predicted. At that point, he should have been beamed to the Crystal Tower by instantaneous cases. However, the machine exploded and Mr. Asman in fact perished. Yes, I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So what you're really saying is, the large explosion that killed Mr. Asman was an accident, correct? But the bigwigs had you arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for a man's death. That is the immutable truth here. And for that, I wish to be punished. At once. But... Murder? Never in a million years. It was an accident, simply an accident. I see. Hurley and I were talking this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or murder. How exactly? Well, if it really was an accident, then the professor's machine would be kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Yes, it's newly established here in Britain. The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. That one passed me by. But if the case is treated as murder, then they'll say my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pore over it as much as they like. If they examine it in detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be able to copy my idea. My precious hypothesis will be stolen. The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative that this whole accident is shown to have been an accident in tomorrow's trial. Ah, I see now. IP laws. So in short, there was a terrible accident at the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes, or rather no. The devil was in the details. Strictly speaking, there was a terrible explosion. Sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating. Humans, like all matter, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. So it must be possible, using a sufficiently high voltage, to break those bonds and beam the particles through space. That's it in a nutshell. That's my idea, you see. That's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimaginably high-level science. Oh, but dare to imagine it. Dare to dream of such incredible technology. Just think, one moment I could be here in this cell, and the next, I could be at the Great Exhibition again. Well, yes, that would be incredible. And the next, in a mere blink of an eye, I could be at a great Parisian theater, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole of our vast planet would be within reach. So no more hiding in wardrobes and rocky seas for 50 days. I don't really see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet wouldn't really seem vast anymore, would it? I think it would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's exactly right! What are the implications? What does this mean? Oops, that's got Professor Bunnybrain really worried by the look of it. Clearly this is yet another case of just because you can doesn't mean you should, I suppose. The point is, my calculations are flawless. The science works. But without a practical demonstration, it means nothing. And that's always the fly in the ointment. Because practical demonstrations cost a lot of money. Money that young scientists like you don't have. That's exactly it, yes. Hurley's always complaining about it. He says the government should invest more in science. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Assman. The victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? I understand Lord Benzig is a friend of yours from university days. Yes, that's right. He was studying law whilst I was studying science. What was he like back then? A good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, an all-round nice fellow, really. Sorry, I think you misheard me. I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor Barak Benziks. What was he like when he was at the university? Talk about a leading question, Bruno. As I said, an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. After all, he is the little darling of the Van Zieks family with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he had quite such noble blood. Little darling? It was a bit of a shock when I came back to Britain and learned what he'd become. The Reaper of the Bailey, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a very big event in his life that completely changed him after graduation. Really? What sort of event? I'm sorry, but I don't know anymore. I wasn't in the country at the time. I was in Germany already. Oh. Yes, of course. If he's heard all about the Reaper, I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lord Van Zieks will be the prosecutor in court tomorrow. family, huh? Yeah. So the portrait is either his little darling. The portrait was probably either his dad, his granddad, like someone in the family, or a brother, I guess. Or an uncle. Could be an uncle. The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Aspen, wasn't it? What exactly was your relationship with the man? He first visited me in my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He said he wanted to invest in my immaculate hypothesis. I thanked my lucky stars. I see. So you hadn't really known each other until then. Money for scientific research. I'm so envious. As far as I was concerned, the man was an angel. Oh, really? An archangel, even. He was prepared to fund a practical demonstration of my hypothesis for presentation at the Great Exhibition. And if that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Asman provided me with money and an exceptional engineer. He produced a machine to map my precise specifications. But then, your dreams were blown to dust in one enormous explosion. He's an odious man, why do you trust him? I don't know. Probably the same people who think working with a man called Victor Von Doom is okay. Or, you know, the people who didn't, I'm trying to think of the most ridiculous pun in the franchise. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna plug this in so it stops complaining at me. Okay, never mind about punny names in Ace Attorney. There's a billion of them. Also, the man provided the engineer? So he could have tampered with the machine. That makes a lot of difference. Very curious. As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Asman. I would never, ever have thought of taking the man's life. Well, he seems genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. So, Professor, let me just make absolutely sure I've understood you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, there was an accident, you're saying. You had no intent to harm the victim, who was in fact the sole investor in your work. Is that correct? As correct as 2 squared is 4, I swear it! Yes, it's true that the man perished in the machine of my invention, so I know that I'm far from blameless in all this. But still, I would never use my discoveries, my inventions, to take a person's life, not in a centillion years. I'm a man of science, it's all I know. You have to believe me, please! Do you believe me? Do you believe in my hypothesis? Science is the pursuit of truth, you know. I've always believed that, all my life. I'm afraid I don't know much about science, or your theories, but I do believe you, and I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. Or at least, I mean, not your innocence, but I'll prove your, I'll argue you down from murder to manslaughter. Negligence. I'll get you a negligence charge, okay? Okay. I'm a man of the law, it's all I know. You have to believe me, please! When I went to live in Germany after I graduated, I learned something very important. Nationality, class, lineage, none of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. Also, I just realized his name badge is a German flag. Right? That's what it is? And thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. Alright, Reno. It's time. Time to visit the Great Exhibition. Sorry. Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate at last. The German flag is red, black, and yellow. Oh, not red, black, and white. Okay, I guess I was overthinking it. 2 out of 3 colors. You can see why I mistook it. Hang on. Ah, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, I was overthinking it. Sorry, chat. I jumped the gun. Anyway, here, take a look at this newspaper article. How could this have happened? Must feel awful. As well as a man losing his life, the Crystal Tower was greatly damaged too. I know what happened. It must have been that. That? The day before the demonstration, I had my usual meal of frankfurters at the hotel restaurant. When I paid the bill, they gave me 3 shillings too much in change. But instead of saying anything, I just slipped the coins into my pocket. They're still there now. It's divine retribution for my wrongdoing. That's what this is. For a scientist, he has some very illogical anecdotes. Long and illogical. I stiffed someone. Alright, alright. Experimentation stage. Let's go. Off to the crime scene. The showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. We've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now, and I felt myself swooning 3 times. There are a lot of people, aren't there? I've almost been trodden on 3 times too. Be careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. We finally made it through the throngs, though, by the look of it. Here we are, underneath the public experimentation stage where the explosion happened yesterday. What's that? I can hear voices from up on the stage. It sounds like an argument. There's the Union Jack. Hey! Look who it is! Someone's back. Oh, hang on! Inspector? Did she do it? Did she become one? Is she Inspector? Inspector Gregson? Is that you? Huh? Right, I've had it with you this time. I'm warning you, I'll arrest you in a minute. Yeah? Good, Inspector, give it a shot. You ain't got no evidence and you know it. Wait, I know those voices. You've got a cheeky little mouth on you, young lady. But a night in the cells will teach you some manners. Just try it, I dare ya. If you want that back, just ram down your throat. Yoo-hoo! Rexy, what are you doing up there? Ugh. Ah! It's you! Here! You're here! Here you are! You! Here! Your ladyship! How are you, your ladyship? I do hope you're well, your ladyship. Does that make her 3 times a lady? I'm not well at all. It's far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride in a balloon, but there was a 3-hour queue. Unbelievable. I'll go and have a word for you at once, your ladyship. You'll be flying as high as a kite in no time once I pull some strings for you. Tobias Gregson, an inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty, but it would appear he's back in action now. Ah, okay. I was about to ask as well, because, like, surely there would have been some fallout from the whole thing, but I guess he got pardoned? The Queen probably pardoned him since he was acting in national security interests? I don't know. He's actually quite well known, appearing as he does in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And for that reason, you can't say a word wrong to the story's author, Iris. But there are limits, surely. Or there should be. Watch it, Sunshine. Sorry. What gives then? And tell me you're on this case. Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate. Dear me, that's the situation, is it? Is it really that troubling? An easy $5, is that all you got? You're a lawyer, ain't you? You could stand to carry a bit more copper around in your pockets, Mr. Naruto. What? Hey, that's my last bit of spending money, that is. You can have it back. But I have to charge you for all the bother. 3 bob. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocket, or diver, born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago, this is the young girl I was defending in court. What's your problem, eh, Otto? Diver? Pickpocket? What's with all the name calling? You want a bag of chips rammed down your throat and all, do ya? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assumed you've been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. I'm smiling. I'm smiling real hard. That ain't no way to talk to a lady, Otto. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now. Learn to be a Scotland Yard detective. Heck yeah! She did it, chat! The little girl's all grown up. Inspector Gregson and Inspector Lestrade of the Scotland Yard. The bumbling fools next to Sherlock Holmes, just as it is in the canon. Bless them. They worked it in. They worked it in. So you have to call me what everyone else does. It's Inspector Lestrade now. Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely. The inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls her that. Okay. But you know we will. We're going to do it. We're going to do it because it feels more right, you know? It just feels right. For what it's worth anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean? Right, well, I'll be back up top. You hold the fort down here, alright? Right, sir. This raises a lot of questions. Hey, it's time to catch up. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina in connection with a case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive a pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder. I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realized I couldn't go on like I was. The diving weren't working out. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done. So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Aye, now you're just being cheeky. Talk about a sea change. And then there's Iris' own man to think about. Iris' father, you mean? Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stuff looking for him. Just a small promise then. Nothing serious. Oh, Ginny, you're so sweet. So anyway, since I had to go at a test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is, I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem. Nothing serious. And that's when Hurley approached Grexy and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and made her a sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson, and brave. Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. The great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. Okay, so she's not officially an inspector, but she's training to be one. Alright. Fair enough. Fair enough. No, she's just Inspector Lestrade in her mind. But you know what? We're going to humor her because it feels right. So, the long and short of it is, if you got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade. Right then, Inspector. Actually, there's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Ooh, what, Bruno, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was defended in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. A trial in which she was found not guilty, and yet here she is still. Come on! You're not still on about that, are you? Legend of Reaper, whatever it's called. I ain't half worry, though. If I didn't half worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, ain't it? Reaper's kinda like him upstairs, so you know what I'm like on the inside. I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly. So I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. Well, good for you then, I guess. So basically the implication is that... Yeah, that would be curious. Natsume's fine. Gina's fine. Could it really be a coincidence? All the previous times? I don't think so though, right? Maybe there's a Moriarty situation going on and like they really are a bit more discerning than that. Maybe it's only people related to a criminal conspiracy and like, I don't know, Natsume and Lestrade happen to be outsiders. Maybe Van Zieks has been secretly prosecuting every member of like a specific gang or something, and hasn't realized it. I could see that being the case. Car was out of this world, it was. The brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly it started billowing smoke. And just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean, you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge here, ain't he? Keeping everything running smooth, I mean. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's going to take some getting used to. So all I have to say is that I'm on duty, and I can do whatever I want to. USB cable loose? Okay. Yeah. Get this! I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. Oh no. Chad, is she a witness? She's a witness, isn't she? Is she going to be the detective giving the information? Is Gregson gonna be like, hey, you handle it, you show up in court? Is she going to be the gumshoe for this game? Oh, that's going to be fun. If she's taking over the gumshoe position, that's perfect actually. Wow. that's actually a really good way. That's actually a really good way to integrate her. God, I hope that's the case. No, you're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You have no trouble at all. Then it's settled. When do I start? No. You can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. We'll see. You're too young to join Scotland Yard. I'm too young to be writing books, and yet here we are. We'll see. Anyway, what I don't understand is, if the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success, in a way. It was. How can it have been? Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. Oh! I know they're about to reveal it to me, but chat, let me guess the twist. The guy actually did get teleported. His corpse showed up at the Crystal Tower. That's what happened, didn't it? It's not that he died in the explosion in the cage back there. His body was found up in the Crystal Tower. Is that what it is? Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm right. Tell me that's what happened. It's like I said, it did sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and all that whooping great bang. Where'd you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Crystal Tower over there. Ace Attorney, I'm onto you. That's exactly the kind of bullshit what the hell happened mystery that you throw at me. Ah. Of course. Now we gotta think about how the hell that's even possible. What? It's very Layton-ish too. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. This is just a Layton crossover game, but canon. In the tower. You can see for yourself, can't you? Up there above the scaffold. Wait, the glass is broken. Are they implying that his body got flung all the way over there? Wait, no, okay, that's probably a bit too silly. There's probably another machine on the other end, and that one blew up too. Like the two ends of the two quote-unquote ends of the teleporter, right? So the other end also exploded. That's what made the crack. For a moment, I was thinking the guy got like smash brosed into the crystal tower. That would have been funny. Oh, well, the glass is broken, you mean? Yeah, cage what the victim got in to start with. Really to get beamed through the air or whatever and landed all the way over there. So, you see, it did kind of work, didn't it? What? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get the ins and outs of it, but anything's possible, right? With science. Oh, I tell you what, you can have this. It's a part of the experiment they grew up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had tree bob off the air before, so fair's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? Yeah, she is the gumshoe. She's the one giving us the... She's giving us the evidence and giving us the case summaries. This is perfect. Inspector Gregson is the gumshoe of Great Ace Attorney 2. I love this. This is perfect. And it's even better because she's going to be quote-unquote bumbling Inspector Gregson because she's a newbie to the job. God damn, this is perfect. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I love this idea. This is actually really clever. Okay, there's not much to see, but yeah. Yeah, this is really clever. I like this. Something Inspector Gregson said before he seemed a little strange. For what it's worth anyway, investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yes, naughty old Grexy ran off after that without explaining himself. It's the accident/murder thing, right? IP rights. Oh, right, that. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate the weird machine what blew up yesterday. But that's not fair, we're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call him again? The Forensic Investigation Team, I think. Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can't investigate. Yes, I've never heard something like that before. I thought I could have a gander on the quiet though, but the boss caught me at it. You probably heard him giving me an earful about it before from down here, didn't you? Stop being fair. I think you were giving him as much of a earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips what make him so stubborn. Just say something to him, Mardo. Go on, see if you can get through to him. Some of the platform above us, is he? Where the machine that exploded is. You can try, can't we, Bruno? Grexy will listen to us. Or he'll listen to you, at least. Alright, I'll show you this band. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. And this badge is proof that I'm a detective. Ah, of course. So you're all gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade. In that case, you'll have to start calling me... well, anything but Otto. You have to start calling me Ace Attorney. I could call you a defendant or order if you like, but it don't really trip off the tongue. No, it doesn't have a great ring to it, does it? And she's still stealing it. Looking for this, Otto? Alright. These stairs obviously lead to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being conducted. So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up. Ooh, it must have been a magnificent explosion. And I've seen my fair share. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course! Hurley's always doing experiments that end in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. That might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs. One time he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. I wish you'd been there to see it, Bruno. It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Is it? Isn't Gregson gonna block us? Oh look, Inspector Gregson is over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. Alright. Oh! A vertical scroll, that's new. Yo, Gregson. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently. And mercilessly. So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air. Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible though, Iris? Oh, Bruno. I'm just a child. How should I know? A child when it suits you, you mean? From what I can tell, I think if you were to pull this lever here... Stop! Don't touch that! That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over just now, Grexy. Please, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. So sorry. You can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it. Wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful. It's just like old times, this is. Naruhodo slipping into British isms as well. Just like old times, this is. We're representing Professor Hairbrain in court tomorrow, Inspector, so we should be allowed to examine the scene. Listen, Sunshine. Even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. There's that blasted Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty. Oh yes, that Special Dispensation. The Professor mentioned that too. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes. But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Surely that's alright, isn't it, Grexy? Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship. But please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Bruno? She really knows how to get what she wants. Okay. Let's talk to him first. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body, and then beam him across to the Crystal Tower, is an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True. It's by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition line. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying on something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. Government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. I'm more worried about being ahead of the game than they ought to spot public safety infringements. They can be the first to develop some new technology that makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yes, I suppose that's true in a way. The powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on science's rights at the moment. What sort of rights? Making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it to the practical idea and even going into production. For just the infuriating reasons us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new high-voltage Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. Ah, I see now. The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department at the Yard. The Forensic Investigation Team, it's called. They've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. Any old fool could see that this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. But just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it. Poor Grexy. He's very heads up, isn't he? Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Haven't at me, Sunshine. It's a special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Yes. I think Hurley mentioned that recently. With a real twinkle in his eye, as I remember. I'm sure he did, your ladyship, I'm sure he did. But he passed especially for his great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. And if it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that. Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's all so fun. It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Hang science is what I say. Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job. You'd still think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shammers, bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well... there is a point, sadly. Sorry? Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. Scientists get funding. Exactly. And that's what they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. So who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science! Hang it! Oh. Maybe I could see your point. Apparently Professor Harebrained lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. That's right. Came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. It turns out he was at university of someone we both know. Lord Van Zeeks. What's that? That's news to me. But what if Van Zeeks mends the prosecution? Then as the accused, the professor's fate is... sealed? Because the Reaper will get him one way or another? Blimey. That man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Van Zeeks, this morning's paper read the story of him being attacked. Read that? Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long's that business gonna keep up, I wonder? The victim of this case, the inventor, Mr. Aspen. He was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Lord Barak Van Zeeks is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zeeks initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal with court. Although the man himself denies that charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zeeks is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Harebrained mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Van Zeeks was a totally different person. Easygoing and kind. You what? He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue. Really? Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh? He knows something. He knows something. He's hiding it. Okay, well, take a quick look. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Harebrained was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get struck up myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think that this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? Yes. Looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer the question. We can't we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly! The annoying, obstructive, flaming rules! Oh, look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think. Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of a capital letter A. It is? Oh yes, you're right. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said. Yes, I understand, sorry. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit. But Grexy, I'm very curious about the screwdriver. Really very, very curious. Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. But I'm afraid I can't let you have it. But Bruno found it first. I assure you, I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it. That was very mean, I'm afraid. Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in the next month's installment now. Poor Grexy. Interesting. Why didn't he put it back at the crime scene, though? I thought you were not allowed to touch anything. Why did he make off with it, though? That amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the Crystal Tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to wherever they're going. I don't think it was supposed to shoot anything, Runo. It was set up to beam people to the Crystal Tower, where they'd be reconstructed in their original form. Well, I don't like the look of it. If it was as amazing as it looks, the accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course. I suppose that's true, yes. But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? Balloons. So those are people carrying balloons dangling silently in the skies over London. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly. But I never imagined it would involve them being suspended from colorful, floating Tamari handballs. I'm sure it must feel amazing being up there among the clouds. Let's take a ride together, Runo, please. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it. But without a cast iron guarantee that the thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared. Oh well, in that case, I should tell you what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground, as long as it doesn't explode. Yes, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play on my mind a little. The Taj Mahal? There are all sorts of strange buildings here at the Great Exhibition Grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Runo. I do wish I could go and see it. I present a particularly speedy samurai with a... da 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 da. A particularly steely samurai of a present of one of Hurley's stories I've written especially. And see if I could get Hurley to a jam against some birds to master ninjas. The jamming ninja. You know, there hasn't been that many jokes about like the main series. There was the Phoenix Wright Omnibus, and that was about it. That's funny. You might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think. Oh, well that's dull. Ooh, but I do know a prosecutor with a Chonmagi top knot I could introduce you to. A Chonmagi? Really? Do you think I could have my picture taken of him, do you? Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year ago, yes. Hey, it looks like there's nothing else to examine right now. Okay, we still have to tinker around this place some more. What can you say about that? Here's this paper. Yeah, two unwelcome blasts back to back. This one at the exhibition and the Reaper getting attacked. I know. Terrible news to wake up to, wasn't it? I tried to pretend I hadn't read it and turned over another 40 wings. Thanks to that, I was laid up and got a roasting from the trooper. Some mornings are like that, aren't they? Oh, the Ferris wheel. But what is that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins you can see. Why? Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour. If you were mad enough to go in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think? I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, who knows? Yeah, there's only up and down. I think I've exhausted all the dialogue. Alright, chat. Tell you what. We've been going on for almost 2 hours now, so I think this is probably a good place to stop. I don't know when the to be continued will show up, but if it's soon after this, then hey, it's fine. I'll just do a longer session next time. But, yeah, what do you guys think? Good place to call it for now? We gotta figure out what the game wants us to do next too, because I'm not sure if there's anything else here that we need to examine. So we could just start walking around soon. But yeah, alright. Yeah, we'll call it at that for here for today then. And we'll pick this up another time. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys around soon. Peace.